Welcome back to the deep dive.
Great to be back.
So today we're picking up where we left off, looking at those English phrases that sound just like names.
Right, but they carry all this cultural weight, lots of hidden meaning.
Exactly. If you heard our last deep dive on this, you kind of know the setup. If not, well, you're in for a treat.
Definitely.
Our mission, basically, is to unpack these names, these phrases, see the stories behind them. It adds a lot of color to understanding English, I think.
Absolutely. And maybe some humor, too.
Yeah, that too. So today we've got, what, 5 main ones?
Yep, 5 on the list. Good Samaritan, Everyman, then the whole Joe family blogs, Public, Blow, Schmo,
Ha, yes, the Joes.
then Debbie Downer, and wrapping up with Captain Obvious.
Okay, sounds good. Let's jump in with Good Samaritan. It sounds straightforward, maybe just a nice person.
Well, yes, but it's more specific. It's really about a kind stranger who helps someone, often unexpectedly, when they're in need.
Okay, a stranger. And the origin, I feel like I should know this one.
It's biblical, from a parable, actually, about a Samaritan man, and Samaritans were often looked down upon back then, who was the only one to stop and help an injured traveler.
Right, right. So it emphasizes selfless kindness, especially from someone you might not expect it from.
Exactly. It carries that weight.
Mm-hmm.
So if you say, oh, a good Samaritan returned my lost wallet, it's not just saying someone was nice.
It implies more.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Let's move on to Everyman. Sounds ordinary.
And that's precisely the point. Every man is like a symbol for the ordinary, relatable person. You see this a lot in stories, in films.
The character we can all see ourselves in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Ah.
Someone facing common human struggles. And the origin is fascinating. It goes way back.
Oh, yeah? How far?
Medieval times, morality plays. There was actually a famous play just called Everyman.
No way!
Yeah, and the main character literally represented all of humanity dealing with, life and death.
Wow. So when we call a movie character an everyman, it connects all the way back to that.
That's the root, yeah. It embodies that universal human thing.
Okay, cool. Now about those Joes. Joe Blogs, Joe Public, Joe Blow, Joe Schmo. Why so many for just the average guy?
Well, they all basically point to the average person, the general public.
Yeah.
But there are slight differences, often regional.
Okay, like how?
Joe Blogs is very common in the UK,
Yeah.
just a generic placeholder.
Right.
Joe Schmo, that sounds more American, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes used a bit humorously, maybe even slightly dismissively.
Yeah, I can see that. And Joe Public?
Joe Public is often used when talking about, say, public opinion or what the average consumer thinks or needs.
Ah, okay. So, is this new policy going to work for Joe Public?
Exactly that kind of context. It's shorthand for the collective masses, the everyday person.
Got it. All right, let's shift gears. Debbie Downer. This one feels different and not very positive.
No, definitely not positive. And unlike the others, this one's much more recent. It really took off because of Saturday Night Live.
Ah, SNL. I thought it sounded familiar. There was a character, wasn't there?
Yes, a recurring character played by Rachel Dratch. The whole joke was that she'd just constantly bring the mood down, find the negative in everything.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I remember her. The trombone sound effects. Wah wah!
That's the one. So calling someone a Debbie Downer is, well, it's a pretty direct and funny way to label someone who's always pessimistic.
The party pooper, basically.
You got it. Okay, last one. Captain Obvious.
My personal favorite sometimes.
Haha, yeah. We all know one, probably. Captain Obvious is that person who points out something incredibly, blindingly clear, as if it's some kind of revelation.
Like saying it's raining when you're both standing outside getting soaked.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It started as like a sarcastic nickname, really gained steam online, became a meme.
So it's purely sarcastic then?
Mostly, yeah. It's a playful jab at someone for stating the completely obvious. Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Perfect. Okay, so wrapping these up. Good Samaritan, Everyman, all the Joes, Debbie Downer, Captain Obvious.
They really do pack a punch, don't they?
Yeah.
They're these little linguistic shortcuts. You say the name, and boom, you convey a whole concept or personality type.
Yeah, steeped in culture, history, sometimes even comedy. It makes the language so much richer.
It really does.
So we really encourage you, as you go about your day, to maybe listen out for these. Notice when they pop up.
And think about that cultural baggage they carry. It's kind of cool when you notice it.
Definitely. And that brings us to a final thought for you to maybe chew on. What other words or phrases out there, ones that seem really simple on the surface, might actually be hiding some surprisingly deep cultural stories or meanings? Something to think about.